We are back live again for part 2 of True Wealth, live from Jekyll Island. And I'm your host with the most, Brother Young Adon, and seated with me are 3 powerful giants that really, they don't need an introduction, but we're going to reintroduce to some and introduce to others. I don't know, you had to be under a rock or something if you don't know who they are, but we're going to tell you so you're going to know by the end of the day. We're going to deal with the subject of true wealth and changing the narrative live from Jekyll Island. We're going to get into why we are on Jekyll Island and what this means and how significant this is to have black wealth being exchanged and what true wealth actually means. So without any further ado, we're going to get right into it. To my left and to your right, depending on how you're looking at it, we are here with a brother who needs no introduction. I mean, he's incomparable. He is the definition of entrepreneurship. He is the face, from my perspective, of what it means to redefine and change the narrative for our culture. Because that is a major deal in this world, is us redefining our culture, and none epitomizes that more, in my humble opinion, than the brother sitting right next to me. So help me to welcome your brother and my brother, the magnificent Brother Dame Dash, also known as Mr. Poppington. Thank you. So Brother Dame, first of all, it's an honor and a privilege to have you here. Man, we've done a lot of work with you. We've watched you influence the culture from the highest of the highest levels to when you talk about finance, when you talk about fashion, when you talk about music. They have attempted, in my opinion, to try to write you out of the picture. But that is practically impossible, because you can't say Kevin Hart and don't say Damon Dash. You can't say Jay-Z and don't say Damon Dash. You can't say Rachel Roy and don't say Damon Dash. You can't talk about those that expose the culture vultures and don't say Damon Dash. You can't even say pause and don't say Damon Dash. So man, it is a great honor, brother, and if you don't mind, I would like for you to begin. We have just a few minutes, and while we got it, we're just going to get right into it. Since we're talking about the subject of true wealth and what it means, I think it's only right for you to set it off by giving us your definition of what true wealth actually is and how you see it and how it actually extends beyond financial capital.
Yeah, well, wealth definitely isn't looking at money in a bank. It's about the way you live every second of your life. So if you have love around you, you have your family around you, you have your children around you, if you have the people that you care about and you're working with them, if you're happy all day, if the people that you love are happy all day, if you're making sure that the people you love don't have to go through the same problems that you have to go through, you know, that's wealth. The other day, I woke up to my son saying, I feel like going bowling. It was 12 o'clock. There was no, I gotta call my boss to take a day off or rearranging a schedule. It was whatever you wanna do, son, we can do right now. So being able to activate when your child wants you to is important as well.
You definitely can't talk about wealth without family.
And that is family. You know, God made love, man made money. So the currency that I'm rocking with is God made, never man made. Anything that man has made is meant to control us as a culture. So even sitting here now and where we're at, that's the very thing that suppressed us, is our obsession with something that man made and not what God made. So I find that God gives us what we need, not what we think we need and not what we want. He gives us what we need.
Absolutely. In fact, when you think about what is really priceless, it's the things that money can't buy. I mean, how much would you pay for eyesight? How much would you pay to be able to hear?
Trust me, I'm diabetic and I get floaters in my eye, and I'm like, it's a reality that it can happen. So you have to enjoy every second. And in another interview, we were just talking, and I was like, you know, freedom is free. You know, and but you pay anything to be free. Ask somebody that's locked up. They'll give all the money in the bank to be able to be free. But we get to be free for free, and we get tricked into selling our freedom to other people for a check. Not even understanding that now you've just given up what we fought so hard for, freedom. You know? So it's important that we understand what real freedom is. The best way to keep a slave is for a slave not to know he's a slave. You know? The best way to rob somebody is for them to think they're not being robbed, but think they're being treated fairly. The nicest people to you are the ones that are robbing you the most. And you have to be cognizant of that.
Yes, sir. That is a very deep and interesting perspective, and a true one at that. And I think if more of us learn to look past dollar bills and fiat currency, we could understand and value what we have amongst each other as a people, as a community, as a family, and how we influence the culture for the entire world. Everybody gets who they are and what they are from us. And it's because of brothers like you and these other brothers, and I'm going to get to the next brother that's sitting up here on this panel that can speak to what true wealth means to him. And here's another brother that has impacted people all over the world. I mean, you talking about somebody that's young, powerful, strong, and black. This brother has over 500 million views on Facebook alone. This brother has had YouTube channels terminated where he's gotten over 100,000 subscribers. He has shown people how to go within themselves and utilize the gifts and the talents and the skills that they have, and to be able to impact people in a positive way. And by impacting them, they've also been able to generate income. I mean, this brother has helped companies go from the low millions to over $10 million in 1 year with his blueprint and his strategies of how to market and be able to showcase what we're able to do as a people that God gave us, as Brother Dame Dash just talked about, what we have within us. We just have to learn how to package it, how to promote it, how to give it to the world so that we can benefit and our people can benefit as well. Help me to receive our brother. I'm talking about none other than Brother Ben X. So Brother Ben, you know, we go back. We got a special history. I met the brother. I was scrolling through the hood, as they say on Facebook, about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I saw him. He was about to give his queen at that time was about to give birth to his first child. And I was just fascinated because he wasn't on there flashing guns and showing money, and he was in the car and he was on his way to the hospital. He didn't know if he wanted to record himself or make sure he didn't miss the birth. And I became fascinated with him. I didn't know who he was, and I just said, I'm going to lock in with this brother. I sent him a message, and ever since then, the rest is history. Brother Ben, if you could hear what your definition of true wealth actually is.
Man, it's actually similar to what Brother Dame said. It's outside of money. I was talking last night on my Instagram, and I said something similar about there are people that's in a hospital, a lot of people died during COVID times that will give everything that they have in the bank to be free. They will give everything that they have in the bank to have the things that we have, but because of our perspective on life, we think that we're broke. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, during the Swan Song, I believe, said that we would be more happy or have a better life if we just change our perspective. Oftentimes we're chasing a bag, but I believe we should chase the God within. Scripture says your gift will make room for you and bring you amongst great men. And by me doing that, chasing the God within, I found out that playing basketball, being an All-American basketball player and making a lot of money, those things fulfilled you like your ego. You know, it made you feel good. Some of those things fulfilled your bank account, your Chase bank account, no pun intended. Well, maybe pun intended. And but spiritually, some people are bankrupt. And so if you got a bunch of money, but you're not happy, you got a bunch of money, but you don't have family, you got a bunch of money, but you're not really free to say what you really want to say on Instagram because you're scared what somebody's going to say. That's not really wealth to me. I remember working at FedEx. Everybody know my story. And I was working at FedEx one day, and I used to always go to FedEx, and I felt like I was suffocating. Like, man, this is not where I'm supposed to be. I'm greater than this. It says life more abundantly, and that's another word that I associate with wealth, abundance. It's not just abundance of money, but abundance of health, abundance of everything around you. I feel like sometimes people are wealthy in people. If I travel and because I've impacted somebody's life so much that they're willing to let me stay at their home, that's rich. If they're willing to cook for me, that's rich. If they're willing to do all these things because of what I've already done for them through adding value to what God has given me, if I would have had to use the fiat dollar to pay for it, but I'm still receiving it because of the value that I bring to them, that's better almost than having money. So when the guy told me he was going to be laying off the 10th season job, and I told him, man, in my head, because I didn't go back the next day, I said, I'm going to fire my boss before he fires me. And I did go back the next day, and that was in 2016, and I haven't had a job since. So the fact that I can do what I want to do, I can impact people, I don't have to be somebody that I'm not. I can stand on the truth, I can stand on whoever I love, whoever I learn from. I spoke at a prison 2 days ago, and they couldn't even say the minister's name in my intro. That's not freedom to me. They got a job, I mean, they making their money, whatever the case may be, but if you can't say Farrakhan, a man who has saved millions of people's lives because of a job, because if you want some money, you're not really free.
That's right.
So to me, wealth is being free, not just financially, but mentally, spiritually, and every other area of your life.
Yes, sir. And I definitely bear witness about your gift making room for you and put you in the presence of great men. And I'm sitting on the panel with 3 great black men that have impacted my life in a tremendous way, and I'm thankful just to have been in the same space with each and every one of you. And that leads me to my next brother, who was last but certainly not least. I'm talking about a man that has impacted me from the time I was 20 years old. I met this brother, a former New York giant. And anybody can look at him and tell he's certainly not small in stature. He is definitely a giant, a warrior, a servant, a helper of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who you just mentioned, that has impacted not only all of us on this panel, but all of us in this room. In one way or another. We have all been touched by the light of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And so I would like to ask my brother, who has mentored me from day one and helped to shape and mold me and make a man out of me. This brother has helped and continues to help many that are in this room right now. So I got to give props where props are due. I like to give people their flowers publicly. He's often told me that nobody has edified him more than I've been able to do, because I speak from the heart and I give you what's real, and it's not scripted, it's not something that's made up. What comes from the heart often reaches the heart. So I want to ask my brother, some call him the 5-star general, some call him Minister James, some call him Brother Aziz, somebody even call him J-Bird or whatever his name is, but whatever name you call him by, you can't deny his impact on people's lives. And I think he's touched nearly everybody in this room in some form or fashion. So I would just like to ask you, Brother Minister James, what is your definition of true wealth?
Well, we really don't have time to read a whole book, because I mean, when you're looking at, as the scriptures say, in my Father's house, there are many mansions.
Come on.
So how can you say it in one word or a sentence or a paragraph or even a book? Because there's just no ceiling to it. If it was an ocean, there's no depth to it. You know, I mean, it's unlimited in terms of what our potential is. And that's a word that I would want to stick to, is potential. I mean, it's just like they talk about unlimited wealth.
Yes, sir.
Well, what is true wealth? Again, we're here to change the narrative of that. But to be able to give, they say it's better to give than it is to receive. Man, to be able to reach out to a brother such as Brother Dave and yourself, Brother Young Khan, and Brother Ben, and not to mention those who will come in the future as a result of what we're starting right now.
Yes, sir.
See, because remember, the last slave ship came on this very island.
That's right.
The Wanderer. See, when they wasn't supposed to even be bringing in slaves anymore, they came as though it was a cruise ship, but underneath it was slaves. You see what I'm saying? Hey man, we got to have it. You know, we're not going out like that. See, they say, as thou hast done, so shall it be done. But don't take that the wrong way, because the battle is not ours, it's the Lord's. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I said you got volumes and books and more books and volumes of this thing in terms of being able to give. I'm just excited because just last month we started this piece and here we are again. Well, what is it going to look like the next time?
Right.
And the next time? And the next time? And to all of you sitting in this room, all of you who are watching, I suggest you do like Brother Ben did and fly on into Jacksonville, Florida, and ride on up and start picking out your homes.
Come on.
For your families. Because we built them.
That's right.
We built the whole island. You see what I'm saying? And the scriptures say, muzzle not the ox that shredded the corn. So if you're going to do work, don't put a muzzle over the man's mouth where he can't eat.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? I'm looking at how they put a twist on The Last Dance with Michael Jordan.
Come on.
They trying to find some kind of way to bring down that man or put holes in his legacy. All of the black, Muhammad Ali, when you seen Jim Brown was from St. Simon Island. When he passed away, you didn't see nothing big for Jim Brown. Look at what Tina Turner gave to the world. You don't see nothing big for Tina Turner, but it's okay because it's incumbent upon us to do that.
Right.
You take this man out of history, what do you have?
Come on.
Throw your CDs away, some of them.
That's right.
Throw your favorite playlist away, some of them, because without him, you don't have some of your favorite artists and some of your favorite music and some of your favorite comedians and so on and so forth. But you can't knock this man because every knock is a boost.
That's right.
Say what you want to say. Keep on throwing trash in the well like they did with the donkey.
Come on.
Because the trash is going to pile up, and after a while, the donkey going to walk right out. But he can handle it. Many can't handle it. But he can handle it. But he just, I tell him like the minister told me, brother, your greatest work you hadn't even done yet.
That's a right.
Let's give him a hand, brothers. You understand what I'm saying? This is awesome right here. Having this brother. And brother Ben, my goodness, man. This man here, a baby, shaking up the world, man. That's a beautiful thing, man. Give Brother Ben a hand. Now look, you see Brother Ben. Have you ever heard of Rizza Islam?
Come on.
Have you ever heard of 19 Keys?
Come on.
The list goes on. Now, I'm not going to get into all that, but the list goes on of many of those who are out there that you all marvel over. See, they had to come see him. But what did the scripture say? The young will confound. See, the old. You will have young people, man, giving answers that older people can't give.
That's right.
And this brother is an example of it. And he hadn't even got started yet. And of course yourself, Brother Young Khan, just as a team player, you like Scottie Pippen to Jordan.
Come on.
See, you like Robin to Batman.
Come on.
See, you got some that this brother touched, don't want to give him no credit now, but that's okay. God gonna give him the credit.
That's right.
See, because somebody was looking out for you and watching your back and putting them goons and gorillas around you while you was trying to make it as an artist. That's his job.
That's right.
See, that's the untold story. You just know him on Big Pimpin' on the yacht when they was out there when he was doing his thing like this right here. No. He was in the streets of Harlem and Brooklyn and all them boroughs in New York. You understand? Making friends and making deals with people so that they can navigate and move throughout sharp, infested waters. You understand what I'm saying? Killer whales, infested waters, octopus, infected waters. See, y'all didn't see that part. but that's a part of it. Why? Because business is warfare.
Come on.
I'm going to say it again. Business is warfare. That's the warrior. That's the warrior right here behind the success of all of them.
That's right.
So as you see, I can keep on going, but I'm not. But true wealth is to be able to facilitate and be able to provide. And that's for self-improvement, the basis for community development. And then, of course, your family. And then your extended family and your community. And, of course, your city or town or state. And your region, your country, and then the whole wide world. That's what this is all about, to make the world a better place for everybody.
Absolutely. Give it up now. Another thing I love about each of these brothers is they are trendsetters.
Come on.
They are history makers and record breakers. I mean, I love the way our brother Dame Dash checked Lear Cohen and exposed him for being the culture vulture that he is. There's an old expression that says you should support whoever the enemy opposes.
Teach.
And you should oppose whoever the enemy supports. They always have tried to change the narrative about our brother and try to make him look like he was a rebel rouser, like he was a problem, like he was the agitator, and in truth, he really was. Come on. He's that for those that desire to live a life of comfort at our expense. He's unafraid to go into hell with a gasoline jacket on. He has challenged them from the top of the chain all the way down to the gutter, and as I like to say all the time, he stands on business.
Come on now.
He don't need a whole army with him as long as God got him. It don't matter who's against him. Right. And so I honor that about this brother because he never flinches. He never changes who he is. He is responsible for breaking barriers. He is responsible for making people multi-millionaires. But he is also responsible for shifting the culture and changing the narrative and showing us how a free black man is supposed to think and cooperate with himself on the benefits for him and his family. So I just want to say that again before I go into the next thing about breaking barriers. Because this brother epitomizes what breaking barriers is all about. And he does it in the face of overwhelming opposition. When they try to just get sound bites and clips of him, he said, you know what, I'm going to document my own story. I'm going to come with my own America New Network. We can start our own thing, Brother Ben. We don't have to depend on them, just like they came on Jekyll Island. And they set a course for them and their people. You all are helping to shift and bring a new course for our people, which leads me back to our brother Dame Dash. Y'all see, we can get started. We can go on this thing all day. We're going to need a part 3 and a part 4, so y'all better tap in and tell a friend it's going down on Jekyll Island. It might not be the Jekyll Island that they wanted it to be hundreds of years ago, but it's a new Jekyll Island because God makes all things new. So when it comes to breaking barriers, Brother Dame, if you don't mind, what are some of the biggest obstacles that you see that our community faces in building wealth, and how can we dismantle those barriers?
I think it's the awareness of the other ways to make wealth other than being entertained, and understanding how confident we need to be within ourselves and how much stronger we would be if we do things together instead of serving ourselves up or our culture to think that they're the plug. You know, most American wealth is built on government contracts. Probably everyone that made money on this island made money with the government. It's just one big building that outsources business. And as a black man in this country, there is a lot of accountability that they don't tell us about.
Yes, sir.
So for example, you know, 15% of all manufacturing of anything in America has to be done by a black manufacturer. But how many black factories or black people even know their own factories? Or 5% of all ads have to go to a black-owned television network. But I can only name TV One is the only one that I know that's black-owned.
Yes, sir.
You know? And when I say black-owned, I don't mean black-faced. I mean black money behind it. Not a black man getting 10 or 20% as a promote and private investors that aren't from the culture. So, you know, there's a lot of ways to make money that we don't know. I don't think we educate our kids to tell them and educate them on what to do that will make them happy as opposed to the life that they want us to have, that makes them happy, meaning the people that are controlling us. And, you know, we have to take control of our own education.
Yes, sir.
So I just think the things that we complain about that aren't given to us are things that we have to go take. You can't complain about your oppressor not taking care of you the way you want to get taken care of, or give you opportunity, or treat you unfairly. I don't expect anyone from the corporate world that's been exploiting creative to ever give me any credit. I don't want them to give me any credit.
That's right.
I don't want them to like me. Like you said, if they like me too much, I'm doing too much for them,
That's
and
right.
not enough for us. So again, the ones that are celebrated the most by another culture are the one that is serving us up the most, and that would seem obvious. So again, one of the ways that, you know, I like to not only bring awareness to problems, but have a solution for them is the education, the reading. The fact that every kid that can't read, by the time they're in the 3rd grade, they build a jail cell for them. And we know that to be a problem, and it's a problem that happens over and over again. So it must be intentional, because there are smart people running the world. So when things happen over and over again, it's intentional. It's always intentional. It might not behoove us, but it behooves somebody.
Absolutely.
So we have to start making our own books. And where I go to bring education into a school system is where we have black public officials. We have to go with it, black public officials, black principals, and they'll let us in. But the problem is we usually don't come with the solution, we just come with the problem. So I think we have to understand how to pass laws and understand that in America, unless it's in law, it's illegal. It doesn't matter if it's logical, if it's unfair.
That's right.
But then you gotta think about most of the laws that have been passed, you know, within the last 100, 200 years. Most of the people that made laws had slaves. So, you know, no law that's been made, you know, by anybody that had a slave could be a law that's made that's good for us. So all laws need to be reevaluated. Education, Thomas Jefferson implemented in education to teach a black man how to listen to a white man.
That's right.
And for a white man to learn how to tell a black man what to do. We still abide by that curriculum to this very day. So why would we accept curriculum, religion, food, or laws by people that we know are trying to control us and oppress us?
That's right.
Why would we depend on people that want us in a cell? That actually build their wealth based on how many of us are locked behind bars. The jail system is the biggest hustle in America. It's all outsourced, it's all public sector, rather. And, you know, when I go to a school or a prison, or a school that's in a prison, what I see is kids drugged up with no outdoor space and let back on the street with no ability to read, with a 3rd grade reading score, no therapy to deal with the unrecognized trauma. And the recidivism rate is 99%. And every kid that comes in there is $1.2 million a year for that kid.
That's
But the
right.
kid has to pay for his own toilet paper. So we can't trust them to make our laws. We can't trust them to rehabilitate our people.
That's right.
So jail's not supposed to be punishment, it's supposed to be rehabilitation. Punishment is death, you out of here. If they're gonna put you back on the street, then you gotta come back as a citizen, not as someone that's gonna hurt people that aren't traumatized.
That's right.
So, how many black people you know in jail?
Come on.
Or any one of the things that we depend on. So, we have to get control over that. It's not hard. If there's a problem, we have to do the research to fix it. You know, and it has to make sense. It has to make sense for us, not for them.
That's right.
And, you know, anything that's been told to us, you have to know that it's been told to us to control us.
That's right.
So you have to, like, you know, double check, fact check, look at the details. If something don't make sense, if anything says master or slavery or anything in it, in a contract to anything, you know, That's slavery hidden in plain sight. You know what I mean? Like for artists to say, I want to be signed. It's like saying, I want to be owned.
That's right.
And get a percentage of something that, a royalty for something I made. Or give away your masters, give away your publishing, or give away the ability to take care of your children when you're not here. Wealth is when you know your grandkids or your grandkids' kids are going to be all right. I've been able to be around people all through the years that have been third generation, second generation, not quite fourth. Fourth is what it is with me. But to see a person not have to worry about money for the whole entire existence on the planet is a sight to see. I've known people like 70-year-old and they talk to all this because their family, sold grave sites, and eventually they fill up. It takes years. But 70, like, what you doing? I'm just counting money. I never had a job in my life. My grandfather did this. And this man's 70 years old. You can go through life if somebody sets it up for you without having to spend or work or ever be economically challenged. But we couldn't fathom that.
That's right.
Because we don't work for that. We're always in survival mode. So, if I'm breathing and living and I'm healthy, I'm good. I gotta make sure my kids' are good, and that's what I'm hustling for. And that might mean I'm not gonna get the credit now. I'll get the credit when the painting's on the wall and my last name is running around running stuff.
Come on.
And that's the whole point of creating change. And again, the only difficulty has been us realizing how powerful we are. And lawyers are suckers. And accountants. And the fact that if you don't know how to have money, you can go to jail.
That's right.
So the biggest problems I have are when I'm sitting with money. If you don't know how to pay taxes, when to pay taxes, or after a certain amount of money, you got to go to the bank. And once you go to the bank, you have no control over it. So even if something suspicious happens, like literally recently, and I've been telling people this because I just can't believe it. It's like it was something they thought was fraudulent because a check came in from NBC, a good big one, and they were like, could be fraudulent, and shut our shit down for 3 months. And I'm talking to the bank like, how are we supposed to pay off the people that work for us? Just because you investigating, is there any compensation for the credit that you messing up? I had no control. And then once they found that the check was good, they said, we don't want your business no more. It took another month to cash.
Wow.
To go set that. They did it on purpose. And for me to go put a lawsuit on I'd spend the money that I was trying to deposit. But these are the things that we are not taught because it's not meant or expected for us to have any money ever to look at.
That's right.
But having money is like that's what's giving me all my problems, whether it's the IRS or whether it's lawsuits or whether it's baby mothers. Every time I got money or sitting at something, it's a target and it turns into Swiss cheese quick. So I do not hold none of that. I just put it in the street. And I just think it costs too much money to look at money. You gotta give up 40% unless it's capital gain just to look at it. So I'd rather have it in some bricks and some paintings and some business or something that's gonna give me residual income and something I'm gonna have fun doing.
Assets.
So I don't know how to answer that question. There is nothing in life that comes without a challenge.
That's right.
It doesn't exist, and I say this a lot. I don't know anybody, black, white, rich or poor, that's going through life without a lot of problems.
That's right.
No matter, they're all relative. But in this vibration, it seems like we're meant to be tested, we're meant to be challenged, and you just gotta step up. And everybody tends to act like a victim, and so why me? And it's like, if nothing's happening, it's not happening to anybody else.
Come on.
So I just think self-pity, not giving yourself your accolades and giving yourself your affirmations and thinking that being confident means conceited, not eating healthy, wondering why, you be strong, but you've fallen out because you trust in things that are going to give you diabetes, heart disease, and cancer, kill you slow. And again, we don't know how to pass no laws. We don't write the books that we're educated. So all these things I'm saying are things that I have or trying to have an answer to. So I'm personally going into the school, teaching kids how to dream. My girl writes books that bring the kids' cognitive skills up. And then I give it to them, this is the second book, Dust Still Goes in Space. Now, she sold 60,000 books, and Gus goes to see, I'm sorry. Goes to space, sold 60,000 books in 1 year.
60,000.
10,000 is the bestseller. But we sold them all to the Board of Education. But what we also did was different verticals that come with it. We made it a franchise. So we made an album from it. We made a cartoon from it. We just shot the movie from it. We made a play from it.
Come on.
So, you know, also understanding that anything you do, you are the franchise, and there's always more than 8 ways to make money from any one thing that you're doing. And you never have to put all your eggs in one basket. And you just have to understand, don't do it for the money, do it for the love, and that will make you the money.
I think that's a perfect segue to my brother Ben. I like to call him the digital god, who specializes in showing people how to do that very thing, being able to produce content, understanding that it all starts with you and what God has deposited in you, and being able to tell your story, document it, tell it the way you want it to be told, instead of relying on your oppressor to give the world the viewpoint of how they want you to look. So, Brother Ben, could you go a little further and segue from Brother Dane to talk about what you see as part of the solutions? Because as Dane talked about, we spend a lot of time talking about the problems, but what solutions do we bring to the table? Where can we personally be accountable for our contribution to the uprising of the whole group? And you have done a phenomenal job. I am a student of yours in your digital real estate program. In fact, under your leadership, I've been able to write 8 books, 5 of them in 1 year, Brother Dane. I ain't been playing no games under this brother. He taught me how to document my own journey and showed me that I had power in my own story. And everybody listening to each and every one of us, each one of you has a story, but are you bold enough, brave enough, and willing to tell your story? You think it's not interesting. You think nobody wants to hear what you've gone through. But as Dane said, everybody has problems that they have to go through. And when you're able to overcome them, people want to learn from how you were able to overcome that. So, Brother Ben, if you could go a little further into that and show how you literally created something from nothing, from your journey, and you have created hundreds and thousands of students that have been able to impact the world from being able to get the courage to tell their story, to write their own manuscript, to be able to document their journey. So just talk a little bit about that and how you see that as breaking barriers, especially for a younger generation of people that seem to think that all we got time to do is pop bottles and chase models and show our butt on Instagram, not realizing how much value that is sitting in each and every one of us. While our enemy recognizes the value, he packages your value, he monetizes your value, he makes you sign on the dotted line and sell your soul for a mess of porridge. But you have set the example that you don't have to do that. That you can take this device in your hand and you literally could change the world from the palm of your hand. Could you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so the concept of digital real estate came from really my story. So I was at college. I went to college really only to play basketball. And when that didn't work out, it started to feel like a job to me. And this is around the time where I was learning about the teachings, and I felt more fulfilled through helping our people grow mentally and spiritually than, you know, whatever I got from having 30 and 10 that night. And I left college, I dropped out of college, and I had a job. The first job I ever had was from a brother named Brother Malik, which is the brother who brought me in to the Nation of Islam. He had his own school. All of his children, none of them went to public school, all of them was homeschool, all of them was working for the company. So he didn't just tell me about Message to the Black Man in America. He was an example of what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was teaching us, in doing for self or suffer the consequences. I ended up leaving that job and I started working at Sterilite. Sterilite is where they make all your baskets and things of that nature. So I'm working there for maybe like 3 months, and it started to feel like slavery to me. I was sitting up there, it was summertime in Texas, so you know it's already hot. It's Ramadan, so I'm trying to fast. I ain't drinking water, I ain't eating food. And I end up having to get a little ice water here and there. And I ended up, my last job was at FedEx. And at FedEx, before the guy came and said what he said about laying off the temp season, I was already having this thought in my mind, if I throw 1,000 more boxes on the truck next week, if I come to work and I eat good and I say, man, I'm finna go 10 times harder, my paycheck gonna be the exact same. But if I have my own product and my own service, the more productive I was, the more people I impacted, the more money I made. So when he told me that we about to be laying out the 10th season jobs and y'all gonna have to go back and reapply, that's when I made up in my mind, I'm gonna fire him before he fired me. I doubled down on my YouTube channel. Now here's where the concept of digital real estate is coming in, because around this time I had a realtor that was teaching me about real estate. And she was saying, you know, many of us, we probably here get you a fourplex. And once you get that fourplex, you're gonna rent out the 3, and the money that you get from those 3 pay your mortgage. Well, at that time, when I started to double down on my YouTube channel, I started getting $500, $800 off each video. So I said, man, I'm making that. I ain't got to worry about real estate and nails and hammering and all this paperwork that I hate and things of that nature. So I said, well, this is digital real estate. I got over 2,000 properties online that's bringing me residual income. So the problem, though, became when I was teaching one day, and I was getting up to $8,000 a month, $10,000 a month is rising, and I'm teaching in Austin, Texas about purpose and vision. And as I'm about to talk about the testimonials, the video was loaded. And I figured, man, the Wi-Fi messed up. So when I'm driving home, older brother hits me on Instagram and said, man, your YouTube channel was gone. And I said, oh, it's brother, man, you know I work YouTube. So I go to my YouTube channel, and it says, your YouTube channel has been terminated for hate speech. They didn't tell me what video it was, didn't tell me what was said. This is my main stream of income at the time, young man, early 20s. And I don't believe in 50-50, so I was, 100%, because if I want to create an environment, or if I want my children to not go to public school, then their mother has to have an environment to where she ain't got to be worrying about having a boss. She ain't got to be worrying about making some money so that she can be free enough to teach my child. So that was my
my baby mother feel like that too.
So that was my mindset. And so I end up losing that job. I ended up losing my YouTube channel, over 2,000 videos. I ended up building it back up, back over like 14 million views again. Then they came up with something called circumvention of technology, whatever that means. I still don't know what that means. Didn't even tell me what the problem was. So I started to say, well, if they keep taking my YouTube channel down and messing with my monetization, if I'm getting paid from all these white people that's paying YouTube, or these black companies, whatever, paying YouTube to advertise in front of our videos, what if I made my own product and it was my commercial that was on my own podcast?
Come on now.
Because if I'm making 8,000, 10,000 just off the crumbs that they're giving me from YouTube, if it was my business that's being promoted, I get 100% of that money because it's going to my business. After they demonetized me again, with that, I started making money on Facebook. Facebook said you are now able to be monetized. And many people don't know Facebook is where my largest following is. Over 500 million views on Facebook, over 1.3 million followers over there. So I'm really getting it over there. But then I started getting the $8,000, $10,000 is rising, is rising, is rising. This channel has been demonetized because it goes against our community standards. But check this, what they was talking about was something that I posted in 2015. So they will start to go back to something I posted years ago, because I'm posting about slavery, I'm posting about whatever, I'm just teaching the truth, right? But it goes now against their community standards, so you get me for something that I did years ago. So I said, maybe your gift is not being like these content creators and making money online. So I actually had something similar. I noticed that Brother Dame had. I went through video on demand. I had black on demand is what I call it. So I shot my own documentaries. I shot my own shows. I shot my own skits. And you was able to subscribe for $9.99. Come on. And that's how I started making money as well. Then I started to say, well, this is working, but Bam Bam them ain't gonna pay $9.99. They ain't been paying the $9.99.
The subscription model doesn't work.
Yeah, so I tried to go the route, so I said, man, I gotta get them for free. So I began to say, well, I'm gonna show them how I'm continuing to build my brand. I'm gonna show them how I'm continuing to build by taking what I've experienced in my gift and showing them how to take that gift and monetize it. So I always came up with the quote that says, you are what makes you unique. I would say, hey man, would you rather go to prison for 15 years or learn from somebody who went to prison for 15 years? And they typically say, I want to learn from somebody who went to 15 with the prison. So I say a lot of people, we feel like we are nothing. We are devalued because you've been molested. You're devalued because you've been to prison. You're devalued because you've been to rape. But I said, no, God has permitted you to go through this because now you can impact thousands of people and show them how to overcome it through a book, through a live stream. So you can go live and talk about that for 2 hours, and then you can transcribe that and turn it into an ebook. Then you turn that ebook into a physical book. And because you was already live, all you got to do is strip the audio, put a little beat behind it, and then you got your audio book. So now you scanning something that you already had to do just one time. So back in the day where you had to sit down and do the audio book and read it, now you can reverse engineer and do all those things for yourself. So I ended up going into a life insurance company where they was doing everything offline, and I showed them how to do everything online through digital real estate, and they was spending $30,000 to $40,000 per month on ads to make their money. I was able to take them from not spending $30,000 to $50,000 a month on ads, and they made way more, and I took them to 1.9 million in less than a year. And so my thing is, don't chase the money.
You're a consultant, sir?
Yeah. So what I was doing, I was an affiliate for them at first. I was an affiliate, and I brought in so many people that was coming around my affiliate link, so they was calling, how'd you get in, Brother Ben? How'd you get in, Brother Ben? And he said, man, I'm gonna just make you a part owner, because I literally changed their complete model of how they was, doing customer acquisition. So yeah, that's how digital real estate came about. So I looked at my YouTube channel as an apartment building. Grant Cardone and all these guys, they'll tell you get 100 doors. Well, if I got 100 videos that generated me income through digital products, through affiliate links, or through the AdSense, that's the same thing to me as having 100 doors with physical real estate. And so my thing is, I think a lot of people, they just don't know that they can do it. They don't know who they are. When I come into the Nation of Islam, we learn who's the original man, the Asiatic black man, the maker, the owner, the king of the planet Earth, God of the universe. So when you start to see yourself at a higher level, you expect more. But if I see myself as only as a nigga that can work for somebody else and be an employee, that's all the opportunities that I'm going to see. So when I buy a new car and I start to see the car everywhere, those cars always been there. It just wasn't on my mind. But when I raise my frequency and vibration and I start to open my mind, I see opportunities was really around me the whole entire time. So for me, what's holding us back is we're not aware that there's other ways to make money, and we have the wrong financial blueprint. Mama told me money was the root of all evil. Daddy always told me I can't afford it. So when you get older, these thoughts is in your mind, and this is why you may get money, but you always lose it. Because you're associating money with being evil, and you don't want to be evil. So subconsciously, your subconscious programming, that affects your feelings. Your feelings affect your actions, and your actions affect your results. So they say, be ye transformed by the renewing of the mind. Be ye transformed by the renewing of the mind. If you want to change the fruit, then you got to change the root.
Can I say something real quick?
Yes, absolutely.
So, the thing with the content on YouTube and them being able to shut you down and pay you what they want, that was the issue. So I had to build my own. So what happens when your commercial plays, if you were making $8,000 a month, they were making 80. It's a CPM, clicks per thousand, but it looks like million because it's Roman numeral. And again, they'll go collect the CPM, and they may collect $23 and give you 3, keep 20, no accounting. And also, they keep your data. So data is your behavior patterns. So what's happening in the world is, especially because of AI, any place that you are aggregating digitally, you're being studied. Your behavior patterns, what you buy, when you buy, how much you spend, all of that, and that's what gets sold to the advertisers. But you don't get any benefit of that. You don't get the benefit of the full CPM. You don't even know what the full CPM is, and they can shut you down. They could tell you that they're not going to give you the full CPM because you cursed, but they still got paid. The commercial still ran. So that's the control we keep giving them, is we keep dancing on their stage. So I had to build my own stage. And the ad tech that comes with it. So servers and ad stacks and everything that comes with it. So now I have my own YouTube and my own Tubi. I can say whatever the fuck I want, pardon me, and they can't shut me down. It's mine. They can't shut us down. And what I did was make sure that anyone could use it if they respect the art. And what will happen is,
Instead of you getting $3 from 20, I split the CPM 60-40 to the artist. It's just based on engagement. Now, the book thing I love because, you know, I did Culture Vulture years ago and definitely always do an audio book. You know, got the beat behind it, a Kenyatta, and that's just turning yourself into an octopus and finding 8 ways from one thing to make money.
Come on.
So if you have a story, you can make a movie, you can make a book, you can make a doc, you can make the album, you can make the clothes, the merch that come with it, and you can make a curriculum. Every single thing you do has 8 different ways to make bread.
Come on.
But for me, for YouTube, I'm like, there ain't no way that I do $1 million and only make $5,000.
That's a fact.
$1 million of anything doesn't make $5,000. You understand? Not even $1 million pennies, like, you know what I'm saying? So the way we get involved, because we don't even know the ad tech or the way the people that build the stage get paid, because then we have to build the stage. We have to build the factory.
That's right.
And then we get full margin. So ain't nobody shut us down. You don't never have to be shut down again. But yeah, of course, if we're teaching, they're going to make it look like something that's not being looked at as teaching because we're making people independent. We're deprogramming. We're showing people how to move without them. And what I suspect is, you know, because of AI, and people always have this problem, like, what if AI kills all the humans? And I'm like, but they don't have nobody to study. AI food is human patterns. It's observation of humans. Is what AI is. They look at behavior patterns, and based on that, they formulate and get intelligence. And we're making AI, you know? And it just like, I just feel like that's what God is doing. Just watching us to see how we react. Understand our behavior patterns to see if we're ready to get to that next vibration or not. This is school, you know, and everything is a test. But at the end of the day, I ain't hustling on nobody's stage. I'm only hustling on my own.
That's right.
And if I do put something on someone's stage, it's really just for the sole purpose of putting my work on their block to take them to my block.
Come on.
I'm gonna give you samples of my work on their block, but you come in to spend money with me on every level. So again, you can make your own book, because my own, you know, we have a publishing deal of distribution for the schools. And they're all basically economically challenged schools, and of course, someone that's not from our culture owns it.
That's right.
So I'm like, what's your EBITDA? I'll buy you. You know? You gotta know how to buy a balance sheet, because that's what they do. EBITDA, that's, you know, profit after taxes, based on a multiple. I could get in the game anytime I feel like it. I could just buy somebody's business based on 10 times their earnings, or whatever the multiple is, and then I got a balance sheet, and now I got money for production and money to pay people. I might not own the whole thing, but I got cash flow.
Teach.
That's one way, and that's the way they do it. But, you know, I'd rather be a founder. I'd rather do my own thing. And I'm not saying I'm opposed to acquiring business, but my point to all of that was, y'all coming in my culture, distributing books that we make to my culture, only to my culture. Y'all can't even make money in your own culture. How much do you cost?
Teach.
Go ahead.
So instead of firing your boss, buy the business.
Come on.
And it ain't nothing, because this is the way people buy. Nobody buys businesses with their own money. They do it just like a mortgage. They come through and they say, how much is it? Blah, blah, blah. Give me an exclusive. And then they go try to raise the money. That's what happens. It's never it ain't never nobody's real money. You just gotta have to be savvy enough to raise it. So you can either catch a company in distress, or you can catch a company doing well and buy it based on the EBITDA, but you're gonna have to raise the money. You only own 20% of it, but you will get the salary and be able to control the cash flow, and you also have a footprint for distribution.
Come on.
So that's what I'm doing now. So I have a television network, but they won't give me linear distribution, which is cable. And there was this big initiative for black-owned television networks. And when I went to go get one, they said, "Joe, you got to show me $100 million." And I'm like, man, you know good and well I can't get no black $100 million right now. If I go have to raise $100 million, it ain't going to be black. And that would be the challenge. It's raising the right money. and not having to use the devil's money to fund your stuff because it don't go to heaven, it goes to hell.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, again, I was just hearing what you were saying, the frustrations that come with it. I do have the answer. We gotta own the CPU. We gotta get to data. And that's what I've been trying to do. You know, I don't wanna hustle on the block, I wanna be the block.
Make some noise for Brother Damon Dash. In the words of 19B's, this is high-level conversation right here. And we are live on Jekyll Island. I think we need a part 3 and a part
That's
4.
with 19.
Come on, now.
That was on 19.
This is the real high-level conversation going down right here. And we almost out of time, so I think we can end with my brother Minister James Aziz, to talk more about mindset. I can remember one day I was out distributing Final Call newspapers with him when he was training me. And he had this big bundle of papers under his arm. And he sold those papers so fast, I couldn't, by the time I sold 10, he was done with the whole stack that he had under his arm. So when we got back at our FOI house headquarters, I asked him, I said, what did you be doing to get all them papers sold like that? And he began to talk to me about how they would pay speakers and specialists to come to their school where he was a football player to teach them the art and science of visualization. So I want him to end, if he doesn't mind, talking about the power of mindset and shifting what you focus on and how you become what you think about.
We're going to have to do that on part 3.
Oh.
We got to make sure Dane coming back. You know what I'm saying? But real quick, y'all heard Brother Ben real clear. You heard Brother Dane. I mean, it was like they was really singing a song. That's the rhythm and the melody that went along with what they was doing. I'm going to keep it real simple. Brother Ben said it, but I'm going to say that and two more things. Do for self.
Come on.
Yes, sir.
Or suffer the consequences.
Yes.
That's it.
That's what he's talking about. That's in the root of it. Unless we can have our own, we're going to have consequences that we're going to suffer by dancing on somebody else's stage. Okay? Do for self or suffer the consequences. The next part is going to be the most Honorable Elijah Muhammad's economic blueprint.
Come on.
When there's 2, 3, 4, 5 of you who are in the grocery business, in the car dealership business,
Come on.
in the beauty and barber business, come together, unite, pool your resources. You understand what I'm saying?
Work
Some
hard.
things go without saying.
I call that the dream team.
Come
When
on.
everybody has dreams that coincide and they come together, they become a team. If everybody's visualizing the same thing, it realizes itself faster.
Exactly. So I'll give y'all the rest of it on part 3. Go ahead. Like I said, but y'all see we getting somewhere. Because what we have to do as we doctor the situation, we can't deal with branch knowledge on the tree. We got to go to root knowledge.
That's right.
When you go, you don't want to deal with the symptoms just as a doctor diagnosing thing. Yeah, you got symptoms, but what is the root cause of the mucus coming from your nose or your eyes being discolored or the pain on your right side, etc. Of course, like Brother Young Khan said in the beginning, man, we can go on and on with this piece right here, but we wanted to at least go ahead and challenge the 2 biggest things that hurt us as a people. One is procrastination.
Come on.
Huh?
Come on.
The second is fear.
That's it.
Okay, but we're going to go deeper at another time. We have run out of time, and I don't want to be the one pushing us over because we want to respect, you know, the agreement that we have with Jekyll Island. And we want to turn it back into the hands of the brother Young Khan so he can go ahead and properly close us out.
I think it's safe to say that we will be back and we will be black. Thank y'all for coming out. Let's give them a warm round of applause. Damon Dash, Minister James Aziz, and Brother Ben X. And I go out here with Young Khan and Don. You did it. We out of here.
Don't forget now, Sister and Dr. Iman Ali.
The great Sister Iman Ali. Give her a hand now. And let's give Brother Dame Dash, his queen, a warm round of
No,
applause.
no, no,
It's
no,
not
no,
his queen.
hold on, no.
You think I'm talking all that shit and I'm gonna come with a white girl?
I wasn't
My
talking
girl's
about
Spanish. But Nicolette is an artist that works with us, and I don't look at her as black or white. She's been through everything with me for the last 6-7 years. She's fly, and she's been very loyal. She's helped me build my stage, and whoever works with me, you're not allowed. I will not work with you unless you have a dream. I don't want you fighting for mine unless I can help you fight for yours. If you won't fight for yours, how can you fight for mine? So her dream was to be an artist, and because she helped me build the stage, she could perform on it. But a lot of the graphics that you see she's covering what we're doing. The band is over there doing sound check, so she's the player coach. We all are. So if I tell someone to jump on the stage and do an album, that means I got one.
That's right.
If I'm a distributor movie and ask people to make movies, that means I make movies.
Come on.
If I tell you to write a book, that means I wrote a book. If I tell you to throw a punch, that means I punch some people in the face. So I will never send somebody to do something that I won't do myself, but I'm never going to ask somebody to fight harder for me than they fight for themselves. And I will never fight harder for somebody than they fight for themselves. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So again, if you don't have a dream, don't come work with me. It'll uninspire me. And if you can't fight for your own dream, you cannot fight for mine. And the last thing I want to say in everything I've spoken about, to change the economy and the economic situation, there's a lot of things, and like you said, you have to start from education with the children. The laws, the jails, the health, and the unrecognized trauma. The laws, the unrecognized trauma, and religion.
Yes, sir.
All the things that they brainwashed into thinking are true that aren't. We have to reprogram it, but we have to come with the new rules, and I'll leave it at that. But we got to make the new rules. We can't let them make our
That's
rules.
right.
And that's why we're here. They made the rules here for us years ago. Now we're here to make the rules for them.
See, I got extra jewels because I made a mistake. So give it up one more time for Brother Daniel Darrell's representing next.
What mistake you made?
When I said to your queen,
Oh, that one.
point in this
Right.
direction, they thought I was talking about her.
She is a queen.
She is a queen.
She's a queen that loves queens.
Come on now.
And I'm not talking about Brooklyn Queens. That's my little family.
To Sister Nicolette, and I said Sister Nicolette because she's our sister.
That's right.
And this was inspired by what just took place. One day Jesus was teaching in the temple,
Come on.
and it was packed up in there. And they brought a note up there saying, your mother and your siblings is outside.
Come on.
He said, no. My mother and my siblings is in the temple with me.
That's right.
If you don't have the spirit, it don't matter what your skin color look like, then we're not rocking and we're not rolling together. So we're not in here to look at skin color.
That's right.
We're here to unite in the right spirit.
That's it.
There will even be some of those who was a part of our destruction
That's right.
who will have a part in our redemption.
Come on.
You think we're not going to receive their help? Think again.
I never judge somebody by what their grandparents did. I always judge them by what their mentality is now. We're all human.
That's right.
And I've always found that division is the biggest tactic to keep the whole world divided. So every block beefs with every block, every city beefs with every city, every country beefs with every country. The only thing that's going to bring us together is if some aliens come, and then we got to click up. But other than that, division has been the best way to control 99% of the world. The fact that there's Democrats and Republicans that hate each other, that are all fighting for the same block. So if you fighting for this house, and I'm fighting for this house, and we both want the same thing forward, I ain't gonna push you when I'm trying to help. I'm gonna help with you. So any division of people trying to fight for the same thing is all a plan. That's all. Division is what keeps us broke and keeps 1% controlling the 99. It's not about color, it's about economic, social class. But they made us think that. And that's the reason why I keep saying economically challenged and not black, because they're used to us saying black. They know exactly what we're gonna say. They've seen every punch that we've thrown. We gotta start giving them some stuff they have not seen before, different language, some stuff they don't know how to block.
That's right.
If they know the hook's coming, they know how to block it. So every time we say it, if something that's been said before, then it ain't gonna work. That's been the algorithm.
We have to come with the action.
That's
That's
right.
it. If you talk, if you talk, it gotta be a language they ain't never heard.
And that's true wealth on Jekyll Island. Y'all give yourselves a hand, we out of here.
That's what goes to see.